You see how I do my makeup for work?
Very demure.
Very mindful.
If your feed is anything like mine, you literally cannot escape this new demure trend, and I don't know if it's just me, but I haven't used this word since like 10th grade English. But this trend has a point that makes a lot of sense actually, and that is you need to be very
mindful.
Okay, you need to be very demure, and I think it's this cultural shift that we're going through where we're letting go of this shameless behavior. We're doing away with the messy, unhinged aesthetic, and we're going more for a soft, modest vibe. But if there's anyone who knows anything about going from this messy, unhinged aesthetic to more of a classy aesthetic, it's me. This was me around this time last year, and I know it's a very, very crazy change, but like, I used to have blue hair, I had a septum piercing, I dressed a little bit more grunge, and if that's authentic to you, then continue to do whatever you want. But for me, I just noticed I didn't really like how I was treated. I felt like a lot more people would look at me and misrepresent who I was and what I was trying to create. They didn't take me seriously because I wasn't taking myself seriously. And so if you want to be more demure, mindful, and cutesy, this is the video for you. Here are 7 micro habits that'll completely shift your life and your energy into a classy, more soft version of yourself. And again, it's not necessarily about a look, but it's about a mindset. And so if that's what you're trying to achieve, if you want people to look at you as a classy, mature person, this is the video for you. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Natalie. This is where I share ways I'm getting my shit together so that you can get your shit together. If that sounds good to you, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. It always helps me around here, but let's just get straight into the tips. The first thing I want you to do is ask yourself, when you think of modesty, who do you think of? Oftentimes we think of maybe our mom or maybe our grandma. I feel like we have this negative association of modesty with like being old. And I want you to do away with that, because being modest doesn't mean anything about being like old. It just simply means regarding yourself in society as a classy person, as someone who values the way they look. It's having a more calm and graceful presence and being secure in yourself. Now, if you're a young woman watching this video, I want to make sure you understand that how women are viewed in society has nothing to do with us and more to do with the patriarchy and structures that have already been in place. There is nothing you can do to convince someone who might be misogynistic that you are valuable or worthy, and that is not what I want you to go about, like being demure. Like, being demure is not about tailoring yourself to the male gaze. It's more so about being who you are and being confident in yourself. With that being said, let's just dive right into micro habit number 1. Slow down. In our fast-paced world, it can be really easy to get swept up into instant gratification and social media and all of these things that are grabbing at our attention spans. Stop. Take a second and slow down. Detach yourself from this urgency you feel to constantly be go, go, go. It's so easy to rush through tasks and activities and finish the day and go, what did I just do all day? Even though you made progress, you're not being mindful in that progress, therefore you don't feel like you're doing anything substantial. Taking a few extra moments to be deliberate with why you do something and be mindful and present in the process makes such a huge difference. For example, when you're talking, sometimes it can be easy to talk really, really fast like this, but slow down. Take a breath. Just because you say things fast doesn't mean people are given time to digest it and actually listen to you. The fastest paced or loudest person talking in the room isn't always the person that's the most received well. Just because you're saying something in a fast pace doesn't mean people are actually digesting it, doesn't mean people are listening to you. In fact, you're drowning yourself out, and the more you talk and over-explain yourself, the less meaning your words have. And when you're in a conversation with someone, you obviously don't want them to feel like you are dominating the conversation and they can't even get a word in. Now, if you realize you're doing this, don't feel bad, because everyone does it from time to time. As someone with ADHD, it's sometimes really difficult for me to not interrupt someone with my own thought, because we just have so many different things going on in our brain, and you're valid in the frustration of forgetting what you were just about to say because this person was talking. But interrupting someone is rude. But even taking a second to pause just helps helps you recollect your thoughts and really ask yourself what matters. Am I just talking about nothing? Is what I'm about to say actually meaningful? Or even when you're doing a task, just slow down the task. It's kind of like that one person on the road who's always going super, super fast just to meet you at the red light. Like, you're going to get to the same destination either way. Would you rather follow the speed limit you set for yourself and feel a lot more relaxed while doing so, or put yourself and others at risk? Micro habit number 2 is notice your posture. Posture is super important when it comes to being seen as demure or modest, because someone who is more so sat upright is going to be seen as more confident than being someone who is hunched over. Studies have shown that slouching or bad posture can indicate that you aren't interested in what a person is saying and can make you look more tired. There are also studies that have been shown that people who experience depressive symptoms feel more fatigued when their posture is bad and slouched. Whereas when they improve their posture, they feel a little bit more awake. This subtle adjustment can instantly create a more poised and dignified presence. Micro habit number 3 is to practice gentle speaking. Now, when I say gentle, I don't mean be inauthentic in how you speak, but choose to be more soft in how you deliver what you're saying. We've all heard of the phrase, it's not what you say, but how you say it, and I think a lot of people need to take that into consideration if they want to be seen as more demure. Rather than breaking out into orders or lengthy monologues, think about how you can say something without really saying it. Use the power of suggestion. I talk a little bit about this in my psychological tricks to make people respect you video, but when you are suggesting something to someone, they are more likely to do it because you are seeing them as someone who is respectable. Now, obviously use nuance with this, because sometimes you do need to tell someone, hey, you need to go do this, you need to go do that, or if someone's asking for your direct opinion, be sure to give it. But I think a lot of the times we insert ourselves in situations and try to tell someone to do something, and that just simply makes people not want to do it. For example, someone in my life just recently taught me this powerful trick when it comes to negotiation, and it's that if you're trying to buy something at a store, let's say you're trying to negotiate the price, right? I heard there was a discount at this price. Now, yes, you're gonna run into the occasional, no there wasn't, but in order to get the reward, you must take the risk. Now, obviously this isn't a negotiation setting, but you can use the power of suggestion in many different ways, not just by negotiation or not just in sales. Point being, if you want someone to do something for you, you shouldn't demand them to do it. You should suggest it and make it seem like it was their idea. For example, in maybe a team project, if you don't necessarily want to take on a certain role that they might place onto you, you would tell the person that you want to take on that role, you would be really good at doing this because of XYZ. You gratify their ego so that way they're attached to that outcome and they become more likely to go along with it. Very demure, very mindful, very intelligent actually. Another way to go about this is notice the way you use filler words and replace like and you know and with pauses. The more you can take pauses in your sentences when you don't necessarily know what to say or you're thinking of the word, the more you'll seem like someone who is very collected, and it doesn't look like you're dragging on a sentence and that you're just scatterbrained and you don't necessarily know what to say. This slows the conversation down and encourages more mindful listening and receptivity. Micro habit number 4 is to reduce multitasking. And believe me, I understand. It's so tempting to do so many different things at once, but it can actually make you feel more scatterbrained and frazzled than calm and collected. You see how I watch my YouTube videos on 1x speed? Very mindful, very demure. You see how I close my tabs that I'm not using anymore? Very mindful, very cutesy. I don't scroll on TikTok while watching a YouTube video while responding to my emails. I set aside time to check my emails. I set aside time to check my messages. I set aside time to scroll on TikTok. I don't get distracted when I'm doing a task like studying or doing work. Okay, but no, seriously, something that's really been helping me is I tell myself, I'll do this when I finish this. If you're anything like me, I'll start doing something and then I'll remember, oh wait, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. And then before I know it, I pause my task that I actually need to do that's on the top of my priority list for something that's at the bottom of my priority list, and then I do all the things that are not the most useful for me, just to realize at the end of my day that I didn't do the one thing that I wanted to do all day. No, we are not doing that. We are prioritizing the things that are the most important to us so that way we don't procrastinate and get overwhelmed. When you start to remember a task that you need to do, write it down in that moment. moment. I always have a notepad when I start to do my work, whether I'm video editing or writing a script. There are tasks that come to my mind that I know I need to do, and I just write that task down and I'll say, I'll do it after I finish this. And I can make an entire video on time blocking and productivity tips that have been really helping me as of recently, because I've been getting way involved in the productivity space. So if you'd like to see that from me, be sure to comment down below. This has helped increase my attention span. Think of it this way, okay? If you're with a friend who's on the phone at the same time as talking to you, you would feel pushed to the side and you'd feel like it was a little bit rude of them. You might not hang out with this friend as much because you would interpret their actions as they see you as less important, they don't respect your time, therefore I'm not going to see this person. Take that example and apply it to your brain when it learns new things. In this day and age, there is new information presented to you all of the time. Now, whether you retain or don't retain that information is up to you and your attention span. Contrary to popular belief, you can control your attention span. As someone with ADHD, I used to think that my ADHD is just going to make my attention span short and I'm never going to have a long-term attention span, but that's not necessarily true. That is why it's so important when learning something that you don't necessarily want to learn, that you dedicate your full attention span to it, because you're going to retain the information better and for longer. You'll start feeling capable and it'll actually give you a confidence boost because you'll realize, no, I am capable of doing and learning hard things. I just simply need to put my mind to it. I just simply need to limit distractions. Micro habit number 5. Take mental breaks. Okay, so this is super important if you want to be mindful. Block out times throughout the day of like 15 minutes or maybe 30 minutes to just have a break. Some of you already do this when you're at work, you know, you'll have a 15 or a 30-minute break. But even when I was doing my serving job, I remember I didn't feel like I had a break. It almost wasn't enough time because I'd spend my lunch break responding to all of these texts, calling my mom. You are not a robot. You are not artificial intelligence. You are human, and going from task to task without taking any type of mental break can leave you feeling burnt out and exhausted. Also, something nobody talks about is it can totally boost your confidence as well. And you're like, oh my god, Natalie, this is a reach. But no, seriously, it makes you feel more in tune to your own time, and you don't feel like you have to respond to someone right at the second that you view the message. It's okay to say you're busy and that you'll call someone back. When you're too easily available, people will see that as you not respecting your own time, and thus they won't respect your time. Give yourself permission to use your time in whatever way you want. And I know you're starting to ask yourself, how does this have anything to do with being modest or demure? Just as being demure is an outer appearance, it can also be an energy as well. And if you're more secure in yourself and what you choose to do with your time, naturally you will be more demure. So turn off alerts, close unnecessary tabs, and say no to anything that doesn't deserve your presence. And lastly, micro habit number 7 is to be intentional. When you are intentional with your actions, no matter what actions you take, you will choose what is authentic to you. Being demure is not about trying to reach some aesthetic potential, because let's be honest, we are constantly being told what aesthetic is the most popular or in. There's so many different stylistic options that you can choose, but the more you ask yourself, how do I want to present myself and how do I want to be seen in the world? And how do I feel when I'm wearing this makeup or wearing this outfit? The more you ask yourself those questions, the easier it'll be to stand in who you really are. And if you're not that much of a modest person, that's completely okay, but in this video, I feel like you really need to ask yourself, like, if I want to be demure, how am I choosing to dress myself that might be seen as something I don't want to be seen as? And again, choosing to dress a certain way and being that thing are two separate things. However, people just are judgmental, and we can't deny that fact. You don't need to change yourself just because other people happen to judge you, but you do need to be mindful about how people will perceive you if you choose to wear certain things over other things. Regardless of how I'm going to be seen in the world, how do I feel the most confident in myself? And the more you can ask yourself those questions, the easier it'll be to let go of other people's judgments, because you've already asked yourself, who am I? You're already secure in who you truly are. You don't need to prove yourself in order to feel good about yourself. Very mindful, very demure. Another thing to ask is, what is the attire? If you're going to an event, you want to make sure that you are dressed for the occasion and you're not misplaced. Caring about your appearance isn't superficial. Wanting to be seen as someone who is respected isn't superficial. And it's okay to try out different things with your style too. Don't limit yourself. Obviously, if you want to go out to a club, you're going to dress a little bit different than going out to maybe a nice dinner. Be sure to let me know down in the comments what resonated with you and what you'd like to see more of. Like this video, subscribe, check out my social medias, and with that being said, y'all, I will see you in next week's video.